Lesson 6 is our lesson on problem management, and it has 6 main objectives. First, we'll understand the scope and high-level objectives of problem management, and then we'll get some problem management-related terminology. Next, we'll see how problems are discovered and how they're handled via the problem management process. We'll also take a look at the relationships between problem management, incident management, and other processes. And we'll finish up with the roles associated with this process. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over and expecting different results each time. Many IT organizations keep putting band-aids on recurring technical issues instead of getting to the root cause and fixing things once and for all. If I were writing a book called Problem Management for Dummies, it would say these things. 1. Find the root cause of problems. 2. Find the solution to problems. And 3. Submit requests for change to change management to get the problem fixed permanently with a change. That's pretty much it. In addition, problem management aims to eliminate recurring incidents, as well as minimizing the impact of incidents that can't be prevented, and proactively preventing problems and incidents from happening in the first place. Lastly, problem management tracks the costs associated with problems and reports that back to financial management. For the exam, you'll need to know these objectives. There are a few problem management-related key terms you'll need to know for the exam. The term problem is the unknown root cause of one or more incidents. If you remember our printer story, we said that Sally in marketing has called the service desk because she can't print to her favorite printer, which is printer A. The service desk has rerouted her print job to printer B instead, and now Sally can print. She's not thrilled because she has to walk down the long hallway, but since the service of printing has been restored, the incident is closed. Our story continued that in the meantime, 14 more people have called the service desk, all stating that they too can't print to printer A. So the service desk opened up 14 individual incidents, rerouted those 14 people individually to printer B, which restored the service of printing to those users, and then closed all 14 incidents. So now we have a total of 15 people who can't print to printer A. And now you're probably wondering, why not just fix printer A? And that's what problem management is all about. A problem is the unknown root cause of one or more incidents. So it's problem management's job to find the root cause, find the solution, and then submit a request for change to get it fixed. We'll walk through these steps in a moment. A workaround is exactly what you think it is. It's a temporary way of getting what you need done. Can't print to printer A? Print to printer B. Done. A known error is what a problem becomes once we know what the root cause is, because we know what the error is. You'll see that this definition has some asterisks next to it, and that's a signal to remind me to tell you that this definition is good for the exam, but it's not really a perfect reflection of real life. A known error is officially defined as a problem that has a documented root cause and a workaround. However, in real life, a known error might not always have a workaround, and it also might not always have a documented root cause either. We'll talk a little more about this quirk when we get through the steps of the problem management process, so sit tight. The next vocabulary word is the KEDB, or the Known Error Database. This is a database where known error records are stored. The Known Error Database is used by the service desk, or anyone else in IT for that matter, to find information about problems and known errors and the appropriate workarounds and resolutions. For example, when person number 9 calls the service desk to say, "Hey, I can't print to printer A," instead of troubleshooting this from step 1, the service desk analyst can look in the Known Error Database and they'll see, oh, hey, look, there seems to be a known error. A bunch of people are experiencing that same thing. And the workaround is documented in here, and it tells me to reroute your printer jobs to printer B. And the incident can be closed that much faster on the first call. Our next vocabulary word is a word that we've sort of seen before. This time it's problem models. Again, anytime we see the word model, we should remember that a model is a set of predefined steps for handling something. This is very similar to the concept or idea of incident models, request models, and change models that we've seen already. Our last vocabulary word is also one that you've seen already, and that's request for change. We bring this word back up again here in problem management because we fix problems permanently by making changes to our environment, and those changes must be tracked through change management. Problem management comes in two flavors, reactive and proactive. Problem management is typically reactive, meaning that it responds to incidents and tries to find the root cause and the resolution of those incidents. But proactive problem management is driven as a part of CSI, or continual service improvement. It's where we proactively look for trends in our incident tracking or technology monitoring tools, and will open a problem ticket to resolve an issue before it impacts anyone. Whenever you hear the word trends or analyzing trends, you should think of proactive problem management. Also, try to remember that the most typical input to problem management is incidents. The problem management process is outlined over the next 2 slides. The good news is that you don't have to memorize all these process steps, but there are some points you'll need to know. I'll walk you through the process and I'll point out the noteworthy items. The problem management process is kicked off by any of these inputs that you see here at the top of the chart. The service desk may get a bunch of similar calls or users reporting the same thing, or your event monitoring tools may have discovered a failure which needs its root cause investigated. Or proactive problem management may have discovered something in its trend analysis. You may even have a supplier or contractor who's calling to say that they accidentally snipped a fiber line during construction, or maybe you've discovered a Microsoft knowledge base article that says that there's a known bug in a piece of software. No matter how the problem gets detected, it needs to be logged in a central location. Since ITIL doesn't have an officially ITIL-titled problem management database, we'll say that all problems are logged and tracked in the CMS, or the Configuration Management System. The problem is then categorized using the same categories you use during the incident management process. This ensures that your reporting and your metrics make sense. Once the category has been determined, now the priority can be set using the formula of priority equals urgency times impact, which is the same priority formula that we used back in incident management. By this point, a team or a person will have been assigned to take a look at the problem and to do some investigation and diagnosis. Use the various tools in the CMS to help here. Are there any similar incidents or related problems or known errors? Are there any recent changes that might be the cause? Next, you might be able to determine if there's a workaround available. The person who reported the problem initially may have had a workaround at the onset, or a workaround might be underway right now. It's also plausible that some problems never have a workaround found, like in our example of the single printer in human resources back from incident management. At this point, once you've discovered the root cause and most likely a workaround, it's time to create a known error record in the KEDB. Now check this out. Remember on that problem management terminology slide when I said that there was a little quirk with known errors? Well, here it is. Even though this process flow clearly states to open your known error here, you're actually allowed to open a known error any old time you want. For those of us who like a nice cut and dry process, this probably doesn't sit well with you. If you look in the book that came with this DVD, you'll see under the Raising a Known Error Record section in the problem management lesson that it says, "It is inadvisable to set a concrete procedural point for exactly when a known error must be raised. It should be done as soon as it becomes useful to do so." And you'll need to know that for the exam, which is why here it's in red. Problems and known errors are resolved by changes. If a change is needed, we'll hang a left and we'll get that change implemented under the guidance of the change management process. And once that change has gone in, we can resolve the problem and close the problem ticket. If a change isn't needed, then we can resolve the problem and close the ticket that way. If this problem was deemed to be a major problem, then we'll have to do a major problem review. Similar to incidents, only your organization can determine what counts as a major problem and exactly how they should be handled. Either way, all major problems should be followed up with a major problem review. You'll answer questions like, what went correctly? What went incorrectly? How can this be prevented from happening again? And how can we do better in the future? For the exam, you'll need to make a note of the little call-out boxes I included on these 2 process slides. Problem management has interfaces with many processes, but its closest friends are incident, change, and release management. In a perfect world, multiple incidents spawn a single problem record, and we find the root cause, which is known as a known error, and we resolve that problem by submitting a request for change through change management, and it gets released into the production environment through release and deployment management, and everyone is happy. It's also fairly common that multiple incidents spawn a single problem, and we find the root cause and open a known error record. But the permanent fix might be too expensive or too cumbersome, so we decide just to live with it. Also, there are times when we open a problem record, but no matter how much investigating we do, we don't ever find the root cause. Who does problem management? Generically, we'll have a person called the problem manager who serves as the process owner. The problem management process owner will do the DEMI duties for the process, which we remember as D, document the process, E, educate everyone on how to use the process and ensure that everyone is adhering to it, M, monitor and measure the process for process progress, effectiveness, efficiency, and cost. And the process owner will also continually improve the process with guidance from the continual service improvement phase. It's also a good idea to assign someone to be the owner or champion of each problem so we can ensure that these problems are being worked. We can pull these resources from IT operations management, technical management, application management, or even third-party suppliers or vendors. You'll notice that the service desk isn't listed here, and that's because the service desk doesn't really do problem management. Off of this slide, you'll need to remember that the problem manager is the only person who should be allowed to populate the known error database. Anybody can suggest updates or additions to it, but only the problem manager can be the person to make the inputs. We do this to keep the integrity of the known error database high. And this roll slide wraps up our lesson on problem management. Let's move on to Lesson 7, where we'll talk about the very short process of access management.